Welcome back, nerds. It's your guide, Key, continuing our adventure to paint this Space Marine captain using nothing but the paints and the brush from the Warhammer 40,000 secret level paint set. So far, we've got some base coating on most of the pieces of the model. We've got some heads done. Unfortunately, today is more blue. You probably can't see super well, but there's still some modeling on here where there's some primer showing. And we've been using a mix of Abaddon Black and Macragge Blue up until this point. Now I'm going to be switching to pure Macragge Blue. I've prepped our palette with some Macragge Blue, some Mephiston Red, Wraithbone, and Abaddon Black, because I actually want to really quickly go back and attack the leather pouch and the belt very quickly. Well, I've got fresh paint. So I wasn't really happy with the way this turned out. I'm not quite done with it. So first we're going to mix some red and blue together to get this kind of deep desaturated purple. Then I'm going to dunk a little black into it. And that's going to give us this dark purpley brown color. I'm going to dunk a little more red into it. Which a little more red. There we go. A brownish color. Maybe a smidge more blue. All right. All right. So we've got this brown kind of back, and I'm going to mix together what I'm going to call a light fleshy color to use as the highlights for this. Similar to what we did with the face. Looks pretty pink now. Let me take it up a notch. Oops, that may be too much blue. It's okay. This is more jazzy than it is precise, clearly. Let's purple the color. Back to red. Now we're getting there. Having reviewed the model, I feel like it's got pretty good coverage at this point for us to move on to the next step at least. So we're getting close. So most of the piece is base coated. What we're going to do is we're going to do our shading. Key. You've already shaded it. You started with a dark color. You brought it up to a light blue. Well, not a light blue, but a mid-tone blue. That may be true, but we want to pin shade the recesses. And I've got a very specific strategy I think is going to work for that. We've got our Agrax. Voila. We're going to pour some of that out on our wet palette right here. Boop, 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 boop. All right, we're going to take some Abaddon Black. I'm going to pull my Agrax into that to make a black wash. Not quite Nuln oil, but it might do in a pinch. In addition, my idea here is to clean my brush off very well, get a little bit of water, and then I'm going to flow it into the recess. Just flood the recess with a little drop of water, and I'm going to use the capillary action of the water to help me do my recess shading here. Let's see if this works. we get a little staining here, that's okay. We'll go back over it later and fix it. Sorry. This brush, it doesn't really want to work very well. Boop. Boop. Sorry if I go out of focus. I'm starting to like our leg situation. See some of the staining coming up there. It's all right. Fingers I'm just going to go ham on a little bit. It's okay. We want some sharp contrast on the fingers. So they're very small, and we can go straight from the shade to a quick mid-tone and then highlights. And the highlights are going to be kind of chunky. We're not going to get beautiful heavy metal highlights here. I can promise that at this point, given the consistency of the paintbrush at this point. It's just not going to hold up well enough. But do what we can. We take what is given. Next, I forgot, but we should do this while we're doing it. We're going to just dump a bunch of this into the neck hole. Feeling pretty positive about this, folks. I'm not gonna lie. It's starting to look like a Space Marine. We need to get back on our blue, clean up some of the stuff. Taking a peep at it, see if there's anything obvious and gnarly. Right now, I don't see anything obvious or gnarly. I get a little wraith bone though. Because one thing that is obvious and gnarly is our mess up from last time. I'm going to try to disappear. It's a pretty prominent piece of the model, so we want it to look good. Not like that. So that's just a little coffee staining. We're going to carefully try to touch up with Wraithbone. Look at this creative use of the painting handle. Stick it on the ground. Extra stability. Can't lose. Absolutely can't lose. Now, where we did lose is getting a ton of paint right here on the boot. The trick I was thinking about doing is we're going to create a little bit of a gray, okay? So I'm going to create just a little bit of a gray color. I'm going to pull that down. See how I just basically erased that thing? Maybe you can't. Looks like it to me at least. Notice I'm doing a bunch of details before I start doing the edge highlighting, even though I'm complaining about the edge highlighting difficulty I'm going to be facing, because the brush is just degrading minute by minute on me at this point. And that's because I have a backup plan for edge highlighting that if it goes really poorly, I might be able to just start disassembling this brush and knock it down to just a fewer strands of hair that will be straightish that I can use to edge highlight. That's not the greatest purple of all time, because actually blue and red together kind of desaturated, isn't it? That's how we got that brown color, remember? What we actually want to do is mix some magenta in there, but guess what, folks? No magenta. Really the only paint that we're not pulled out yet, which we're saving for later, is our technical Armageddon dust. And our Armageddon dust, it's got a little secret color in it that I hope will help us with some fine details, which again, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to wrangle out of this brush. And all that's left are the edge highlights and the freehanding. And the freehanding I don't want to do today. And the edge highlighting, I don't want to do today either. I'm going to give this brush a rest. I'm going to give these paint pots a rest. And we will come back to it later. Folks, thanks a lot. Actually, we're going to do one more thing. We'll test this out. We're going to take our brush, wipe it off, going to put it back together. It's going to rest. And then we're going to take these heads and just try the heads on for size. We magnetize the heads so we can just drop them on. Boop. There it is. Head number 1. Hopefully that looks great. Pick it up, don't drop it in the paint. Very important not to drop the hard work you've done into your paint palette. I'll magnetize head number 2. Boop. Thank you so much. Please remember to subscribe so we can hit that 50 subscriber goal, so we can live stream, and so my life can be easier because I don't have to edit as much if I live stream. I hope, I pray, I think, I suspect, I hypothesize. I've been Key. This has been another guide. Thank you so much. Au revoir.